Manifestation doesn't work when you're waiting for signs instead of building systems. It doesn't work if you want change, but refuse to change. It doesn't work when you speak the affirmation, but live the opposite. Manifestation doesn't work if your belief expires the moment things get uncomfortable. And it doesn't work when you expect the universe to do what discipline is meant to do. Manifestation works when you match intention with infrastructure.
The #1 health and wellness podcast.
Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty.
The one, the only Jay Shetty.
Hey everyone, it's Jay Shetty, your host of On Purpose. Welcome back to the podcast. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't. It makes a big difference to podcasters and it means you'll never miss an episode. Now, today's episode is all about how to manifest all of your dreams coming true in 2026. The masterclass on turning goals into reality. Now, I want to be honest with you. We've all started a new year with big goals. This is the year I'm finally going to start that business. This is the year I'm going to lose the weight. This is the year I'm finally going to launch that podcast. Every January, people make goals. New body, new job, new business, new life, new you. And by February, most of them are gone. But get this, only 1% said they lasted for 11 or 12 months. Not because you don't care, but because the dreams we built are built on excitement, not systems. Real manifestation isn't wishing and waiting. It's wiring. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you build a system for. And that requires a plan that rewires your mind, your emotions, your habits to match your vision. So in this episode, we're not going to talk about luck. We're going to talk about alignment. The psychology and strategy behind turning your vision for 2026 into visible results. 2026 won't be your best year because you wish harder. It will be your best year because you align deeper. Step number 1, end before you begin. Let go of the year that's still living in your head. We all love beginnings, but beginnings don't work unless you properly end. You finished a year of school, you start the next one. You end a relationship, you start another one. Beginnings don't work unless you properly end. Most of us start a new year without ever ending the last one. We rush into January full of plans and resolutions, but part of us is still carrying the weight of what didn't happen last year. The goals we missed, the relationship that ended, the business that didn't take off, the version of ourselves we thought we'd be by now. And so we're technically in a new year, but emotionally, we're still stuck in the last one. When you don't consciously end a year, it lingers. It shows up in subtle ways. You hesitate to dream because you don't trust yourself to follow through. You avoid risks because last time it hurt you too much. You start over, but secretly believe you're already behind. That's what it means to have a year still living in your head. It keeps whispering old stories into new seasons. Before you decide what you want this year, you need to ask, what am I done carrying? Every new goal struggles to take root because we haven't released what's been draining us. The resentment, the guilt, the habit that keeps looping. Psychologists call this cognitive closure, the act of finishing an emotional story so your brain can focus on a new one. So take a minute tonight and finish this sentence. In 2025, I finally stopped X. You'll be amazed how freeing that is. You can even create a small ritual. Write down what you're ready to release on paper. Burn it, bury it, or tear it up. Say thank you for what you taught me. I don't need to carry you anymore. That moment of symbolic closure signals to your nervous system, we're done here. It gives your energy somewhere new to go. Letting go of the year that's still living in your head doesn't mean erasing the past. It means reclaiming your capacity to begin again. You can't step fully into what's next if you're still holding hands with what's over. You can't start your year strong if you never ended the last one. You can buy the planner, set the goals, repeat the affirmations, but if part of you is still carrying last year's disappointments, fears, or unfinished stories, you're not starting fresh. You're starting crowded. Because the truth is, new beginnings don't start on January 1st. They start the moment you stop dragging old energy into new opportunities. The second step is choose a word, not a goal. Because goals change, but energy is constant. Resolutions fade because they're rigid. A word gives you direction without pressure. If your goal is to start a business, your word might be build. If your goal is to lose weight, your word might be discipline. If your dream is to launch a podcast, it might be voice. That single word acts as a psychological anchor. A 2019 Stanford study found that people who framed their goals around identity-based words, I am becoming focused, instead of tasks, I will focus, were 65% more likely to stay consistent. So before setting your plan, set your energy. Your word becomes your compass. You can then say, does this choice align with who I'm becoming or with who I'm done being? I realized that when I stopped obsessing over goals and started focusing on growth, I actually reached my goals faster. Because growth made me better, stronger, smarter. When you chase goals, you measure distance. When you chase growth, you build momentum. Goals are external. They live on your calendar, your to-do list, your vision board. Growth is internal. It lives in your mindset, your habits, your character. Most people focus on the finish line and forget the training. They want the promotion, the body, the launch, but they skip the process that creates it. That's why step number 3 is create a system, not a wish list. Structure is the real secret behind success. Every dream has 2 parts, intention and infrastructure. You can't manifest a podcast without a recording schedule. You can't build a business without product testing. You can't get fit without consistent sleep and nutrition. James Clear's research shows that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If you want to start a business, create a 30-minute daily idea lab where you brainstorm, test, and learn something new about your industry. If you want to lose weight, don't aim for perfection. Aim for consistency. Start with 3 workouts a week and track progress, not perfection. You want to launch a podcast? Record 1 5-minute solo episode per week. Make it a ritual, not a result. Manifestation only works when your calendar matches your calling. Manifestation doesn't work when you're asking for something your habits contradict. It doesn't work if you only visualize the outcome but avoid the process. Manifestation doesn't work when you're waiting for signs instead of building systems. It doesn't work if you want change, but refuse to change. It doesn't work when you speak the affirmation, but live the opposite. Manifestation doesn't work if your belief expires the moment things get uncomfortable. And it doesn't work when you expect the universe to do what discipline is meant to do. It doesn't work if you're manifesting from fear, not faith, trying to control instead of create. Manifestation works when you match intention with infrastructure. Step number 4, upgrade your environment, because discipline is easier when you don't fight your surroundings. If you're trying to get off sugar, but every snack in your cupboard is full of sugar, you're now testing yourself. If you want to get off sodas, but your refrigerator is full of sodas, you're now testing yourself. If you want to work out, but you haven't found the right gym that's easy to get to or the right workout plan, you're testing yourself. We don't fail because we don't care. We fail because we're constantly testing ourselves. We're making things harder. We're making it harder to feel motivated. We're making it harder to stick to our boundaries. We're making it harder to stick to our own rules. Behavioral science shows that 45% of our actions are habitual and triggered by environment, not motivation. Follow this one thing and you'll reach your goal. If your goal is to eat better, start with your kitchen. If your goal is to focus, put away your phone. If your goal is to save money, start with your spending triggers. If your goal is to build confidence, Start with your self-talk. If your goal is to find love, start with your boundaries. If your goal is to grow your business, start with your calendar. If your goal is to heal, start with your habits. If your goal is to be happier, start with your attention. Because change doesn't begin with a goal. It begins with your environment. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer friction points. Success isn't about trying harder. It's about designing smarter. If your environment is full of noise, you'll forget what your own voice sounds like. If your environment is filled with clutter, your mind will mirror the mess. If your environment is built on chaos, peace will always feel like a luxury. If your environment is full of doubt, confidence won't survive there. If your environment is small, your vision will start to shrink to fit it. If your environment is lifeless, your motivation will follow. There's a reason why the phrase, "you are a product of your environment," is so well known, because it's true. If you're surrounded by books, you'll read books. If you're surrounded by screens, you'll be distracted. That's how it works. That's how the brain works. And then you're forcing yourself, pushing yourself, driving yourself, and which maybe you'll do for 3 days if you're lucky, maybe 3 weeks if you're really lucky, but you're always working against yourself. Step number 5, break the all or nothing cycle. Instead of asking, did I fail? Ask, what can I learn? Instead of starting over, pick up from where you left off. Progress is built in the messy middle, not the perfect start. If you can't stand to be bad at something first, you'll never be great at anything. If you keep editing your ideas before you express them, the world will never hear your voice. If you measure your worth by how few mistakes you make, you'll always feel like a failure. If you only celebrate the finished product, you'll miss the beauty of the process. If you chase flawless, you'll lose authentic. If you chase approval, you lose momentum. Because the truth, perfectionism doesn't make you better, it makes you stuck. It's fear dressed up as high standards. Step number 6, use emotional visualization. See it, feel it, embody it. Most people visualize success like a movie. The money, the followers, the applause. But the brain doesn't respond to images. It responds to emotion. Studies from the University of Chicago show that visualizing the process, not just the outcome, increases success rates by 42%. So if you want to start that business, picture the early mornings, the uncertainty and the excitement. If you want to lose weight, imagine how it feels to walk into the gym proud, not intimidated. If you want to launch your podcast, feel what it's like to hit publish for the first time, nervous but excited. Emotion turns fantasy into preparation. Close your eyes, see it, feel it, believe it. See the version of you who already has what you want. See them waking up calm, focused, and proud. See them doing the things you keep postponing. See them making the hard choices easily. See them walking into rooms they once felt unworthy of. See them speaking with clarity, creating with confidence, living with purpose. Feel what it's like to be them. Feel the peace in their breath. Feel the strength in their posture. Feel the ease in their decisions. Feel the gratitude they wake up with before anything happens. You don't have to chase this version of you. You're remembering them. You're returning to them. You're becoming them, one choice, one breath, one act of belief at a time. Because every time you imagine it with feeling, your brain builds evidence that it's real. Every time you see it clearly, your body starts preparing to live it. See it until it feels familiar. Feel it until it feels safe. Believe it until it feels inevitable. You reprogram your mind by seeing yourself doing the hard things and then going out and doing them. Step number 7, work with resistance, not against it. Because fear is feedback, not failure. Every big goal triggers resistance. That's not the universe blocking you. That's your nervous system protecting you. Neuroscience calls this prediction error. The brain resists anything unfamiliar, even if it's good for you. So instead of saying, why do I feel scared? Say, of course I do, this is new. Then act anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving while it shakes. You think successful people are not scared. The truth is they're doing what they do while being scared. You think they're not nervous? They're doing what they do while they're nervous. You think they don't experience anxiety? They're experiencing anxiety while they're doing the thing that you love watching them do. That's how it works. You work with it, not against it, because if you keep fighting it, it just gets stronger and bigger and takes over. Step number 8, build public accountability. Make your goals collaborative with your friends and competitive with the people you really love. A Harvard Business Review found that people who share their